wish I found some better sounds no one's ever heard. I wish I...
Challenging.
Insane.
Overwhelming.
It's overwhelming.
Time consuming.
It can be very, very rewarding.
Rhyme every time I sang. I was...
What is your opinion of the student workload?
Student workload. I think it varies from student to student, and it kind of also varies on the type of coursework that they're doing. Overall, I think the kids have a long day at home, so there should be a reasonable amount of checking and balancing on the teacher's part, but I think we should also be mindful of the number of courses that kids take and what types of courses they take.
Turn back time to the good old days when the mama sang us to sleep, but now we're stressed out.
The student workload. I feel like the students have a lot of activities, a lot of homework, a lot of studying. I don't feel like it's maybe any more than I had, except that you guys have probably more responsibilities when it comes to work, that kind of like outside work. I mean, I worked a little bit, but I think students these days work a lot more to help pay for bills, things like that, different kind of situations, family situations. So I think you probably have a little more going on than I did when I was.
Students have a lot on their plate with academics, with extracurricular activities, with activities they take on after school, whether that's church or family, extra club soccer, select baseball, that type of thing. I think the students have a lot.
Well, if you're going to be in yearbook or newspaper, those are pressure jobs. If you're in a leadership position, I mean, a staffer is fine with just doing the work in class, but if you're an editor for one of those two programs, you're putting in several hours after school each week, tracking down stories and photos, taking pictures, interviewing students. You're going to summer workshops to try to get better, doing weekend UIL competitions, all sorts of stuff. But it does pay off. It carries a lot of weight on a college application. Yearbook editor more than anything. There's not a job more respected by college admissions. And that's because they know that you've had to balance an insane workload with school, and that you were able to pull that off.
I think it varies obviously by level of class. Expectation that I would have in regards to the on-level classes to the pre-AP, AP or dual credit classes is that the not necessarily amount of work, but the difference between the two would be that the advanced classes would be more rigorous. Not just that there's more of it, but that the level at which the kids are having to think and work is higher. I think there's some classes that you could do more work in, but I think there's some classes that there is a consistent amount of work that to be effective and to be successful that you need to keep up with it so that you don't get behind. And that then produces a lot of work, sure.
Wake up, you need to make money. Yeah. We used to play pretend, give each other different names. We would build a rocket ship and then we fly far away. Used to dream of outer space, but now they're laughing at the face, singing, wake up, you need
With all three clubs, well, we have like weekly meetings, so I dedicate about 2 to 3 hours every week, like during the week, and then on the weekends I usually spend about 3 or 4 hours like prepping for the events and all that.
When you were a student, how did your student workload compare to ours?
When I was in high school, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
It was, for me, I had much more, I would think, reading, hands-on reading, textbook reading, different kind. We didn't have like the computer, internet setup that we have now. So a lot of our stuff was text-based, like paper-based. So that load was heavier, I think. We didn't have as much a reliance on research as we do. So the work was different, but and certainly there wasn't as much advancement in the sciences and mathematics maybe that we see now that the kids are still responsible for, in addition to the older stuff that they have.
I think it's pretty comparable. Like I said, I feel like You know, I would go home and do probably an hour or two of homework, probably a night, and I feel that's probably what you have, I guess depending on your classes. I was not in all the AP and DC classes or anything like that, so I didn't have to deal with that. I was like a regular old kid. But I had about an hour or two of homework every night, and then I worked a little bit, probably not as much as y'all work outside.
Oh, not even close. Not even close. The things that, and that's just in general, with the things that you guys do and the opportunities that y'all have and the expectations that are put on y'all. But it's because, a lot of it is because of the change in time too, and the things that y'all have to do in order to be successful now compared to the things that 27 years ago I had to do to be successful then. Two totally different scenarios. So the workload, there's some comparison, but the amount of work that you guys are doing is considerably higher, just because the expectations are higher of y'all to be successful once you leave.
How much sleep do you personally get?
How much sleep do I get? How much sleep I get? I go to sleep around 11 o'clock, and I have to wake up like around 5:30 to be here at school to get ready.
I get 5 to 6 hours a night. 11-ish or so is about what time I go to bed, and sometimes sometimes a little earlier, but most of the time in the neighborhood of 11 or so, and normally sleep till around 5. So.
Well, I know you're supposed to get like 7 to 8 hours, but I only get about 5 every night, excluding the weekend. So.
But on an average basis, between 7 and 8.
Would a study hall be helpful?
You know, we've done study halls in the past, and they're helpful for some students, but not helpful for others. I think time management is a huge issue for a lot of people, not just students, but individuals as well. Study hall, I think, can be effective if the student comes in with the right set of study skills. They know exactly how to use their time effectively. I don't know that a required study hall would be helpful. Maybe a 0 hour or a period in the day where the kids can come in and they can have an environment where they can get some help, but they can also have just some time to study that they may not have at their homes because of whatever situation they might be in.
I think there's some benefits to that, yes. You know, and so when you ask me that question, I look at it not from a benefit of a study hall, but from a logistic perspective on how you coordinate 1,700 kids in a non-academic setting, which is, you know, what you're looking at. My first year or two here at Tomball High School, I got here in the fall of 1999, so that school year of 99, and then 99-2000, and then 2000-2001, we had an advisory period. So there was a 30-minute period during the day that we had all of the kids distributed. And at the time, the building was not as big as it is now. And so a part of that was not having enough space for every teacher in the building to have a class at the same time. We've got the ability to handle that. It's the curriculum that would go along with it, because you'd have to have something that you would want to try to accomplish, and not just a study hall. The teachers in general wouldn't be, I would think, would not be fans of, I've got these kids for 30 minutes with nothing specific for them to do. So yes, I think there's some benefits for some study hall, but I think there would need to be some guidelines and some kind of restrictions and expectations.
Do you have any advice you would personally like to give?
I think the more that you can learn to take charge of your own life and the things that you can control, rather than relying on other people to do that.
I wish I found some better sounds no one's ever heard. I wish I had a better voice that sang some better words. I wish I found some chords in an order that is new.